Amidst society's fixation on material wealth and belongings, we often overlook the truest and most valuable treasure of all, the kingdom of heaven that lies within each and every one of us. From a young age, we are taught to pursue money, status symbols, and material possessions, thinking that they will bring us happiness and fulfillment. Regardless of the extent of our possessions, we are often left with a lingering feeling of emptiness. The truth that Jesus Christ shared is both deep and transformative. The kingdom of heaven is not a physical location, but a spiritual state of existence that we can attain by introspection. This hidden treasure lies beneath the surface of our materialistic desires. In order to discover it, we need to embark on a meaningful journey of prioritizing our spiritual lives above the constant pursuit of worldly pleasures. When we prioritize earthly possessions, we limit our ability to experience the infinite blessings that come from a stronger spiritual connection. However, if we focus on our inner selves and higher aspirations, prioritizing what is timeless, we can embrace the profound and everlasting blessings of faith, wisdom, joy, and peace. It's important to note that we don't have to give up all our worldly possessions or live in poverty. Instead, it's about letting go of our attachment to temporary things and cultivating a deep inner life. Discovering contentment from within allows us to break free from the emptiness of greed and envy. It's important to understand that our greatest fulfillment comes from our personal growth on our spiritual journey, rather than from material possessions. This paradox is truly remarkable. When we let go of our attachment to temporary wealth, we gain an eternal kingdom filled with unimaginable beauty. When we embrace the infinite love, grace, and presence of God, our hearts are set free to bask in the richness of spirit that goes beyond any material possessions. The most valuable aspect of life lies not in material wealth that diminishes over time, but in the profound connection between our souls and the divine. By quieting our constant desire for more, we can tap into a never-ending wellspring of inner peace, joy, and spiritual fulfillment. Discover the incredible treasure that awaits us. Lesson 1. Where is the kingdom of heaven? Within these words, Jesus reveals a fundamental truth. The kingdom of heaven is not discovered in the external world, but rather exists as a spiritual realm within ourselves. It's a treasure that can't be found or obtained through external means. Since childhood, we are taught to seek happiness, approval, and a feeling of peace or completeness from external sources. We constantly receive messages suggesting that acquiring more money, possessions, status, or indulgences will ultimately fulfill our inner desires. However, no matter how much we gather or take from the world, finding that peaceful and satisfying place seems difficult to achieve. The reason is because we have been looking for heaven in all the wrong places. The realm that our spirits yearn for does not exist in the ever-changing material world. It is not something that can be found, earned, or acquired through the pursuit of temporary treasures or pleasures. We have always had the kingdom of heaven within us, patiently waiting for us to look inward. Often, we overlook the immense treasures that lie within us as we tirelessly seek external sources of fulfillment. The beauty of the kingdom unfolds before us when we embrace stillness, surrender, and realign ourselves with the divine. To enter this sacred inner realm, we must rely on grace, practice spiritual discipline, and let go of our attachment to temporary things. It's a process of letting go, releasing the ego's ties to material possessions in order to welcome the profound and everlasting gifts that only the soul can truly appreciate. Every individual possesses boundless tranquility, affection, happiness, wisdom, and a profound connection with the divine. This kingdom is truly remarkable, with immeasurable riches and an inexhaustible treasure. Paradise is always within us, so there's no need to search outside anymore. Discovering the kingdom of heaven doesn't require a physical journey, but rather a shift in our perspective to look within ourselves. Lesson 2. Your heart will be where your treasure is. Jesus reveals a fundamental truth about human nature in a concise and powerful statement. Our deepest devotion is directed towards what we value most. The direction of our priorities, intentions, and deepest desires is determined by where we choose to invest our treasures. At first glance, this observation may appear ordinary. Naturally, we prioritize our energy and focus on the things that hold the most value for us. However, this wisdom serves as both a warning and an invitation. It reminds us of the risks of valuing material possessions too highly, while also offering the promise of a fulfilling life when we focus on what truly matters. When we base our happiness on temporary things like wealth, status, possessions, or fleeting pleasures, our hearts become attached to things that don't last. We often prioritize the superficial over the profound, constantly seeking shallow and empty pursuits. By pursuing these fleeting treasures, we align ourselves with the temporary, causing our hearts to become fragmented and lost. Yet, as we shift our focus towards what is sacred and eternal, our hearts experience a profound transformation. By prioritizing faith, love, wisdom, service, and communion with the divine above all else, we can fully embrace the eternal realm. Our hearts find solace in the unwavering and limitless. Placing your treasures in things that don't last will only leave your heart longing and empty. Investing in the eternal brings a sense of peace and satisfaction that only the soul can truly appreciate. The direction of your values, intentions, and desires shapes the core of your being. It is not implying that one should completely give up the material world. As humans, we sometimes find value in certain earthly treasures. The invitation emphasizes the importance of prioritizing spiritual treasures in our lives. Once we have experienced the profound wonders of the everlasting, no temporary earthly delight can satisfy or divert our attention. By embracing this wisdom, we connect with the universal desire to explore the sacred, find unity, and be transformed by boundless love. Choose your treasures wisely, for they hold the key to your heart. By doing this, you create a clear path to return home. Riley had accomplished almost every sign of worldly success: a highly profitable business, a large estate, and an impressive social circle. However, even though they had everything they could ever want in terms of cultural fulfillment, their days were plagued by a constant feeling of emptiness and despair. At first glance, Riley's life seemed perfect and desirable. However, beneath the shiny exteriors, a deep sense of loneliness and a lack of direction began to grow. The treasures they had collected over the years no longer brought them joy, but instead weighed them down and made them feel despondent. Riley felt trapped in a world of luxury, where their past accomplishments no longer brought them joy. In their darkest moments, they wondered if there was something beyond their current reality. Why does having everything feel so empty and unsatisfying? Riley's awakening was sparked by a fortuitous meeting with Nima, the friendly groundskeeper of their estate. During their conversation about landscaping, Nima asked a deep question. Considering your achievements, where do you think your ultimate treasure is? Riley found themselves pausing at the question, as they had never really explored the concept of inner treasure before. After some deep reflection, they came to the realization that their focus had shifted entirely towards external achievements and showing off their status. They had completely neglected their own sacredness in their relentless pursuit of worldly achievements. After that important moment, Riley made a commitment to uncovering their true self. They started with simple practices like meditation, journaling, and reflecting on life's important questions. Through patience and vulnerability, they came to the realization that their true treasure was not something that could be purchased, but rather something that had always existed within them. As the eternal light flickered back to life, a sense of connection and meaning washed over me in its radiant glow. The surface treasures that had previously been insufficient now seemed insignificant compared to the renewed warmth of their own spirit. Finally, their heart had discovered a timeless treasure, directly from its origin. What started as a desperate quest for purpose in abundance turned into the understanding that life's deepest treasures are not obtained, but rediscovered. Riley was able to appreciate their wealth and also understand that the most valuable thing they possessed was the inner light of awareness. Lesson 3. The Lord tests the heart. In the ancient art of refining precious metals, ore is subjected to intense heat to remove impurities and imperfections. Through the process of being subjected to the crucible and furnace, silver and gold undergo a transformation that enhances their value and purity. The process is both challenging and captivating. As the fire rages, impurities are eliminated, revealing the pure nature of the metal. The treasure that remains is of the highest quality, having been tested, tried, and made flawless through fire. During this refining process, the Lord presents a spiritual metaphor. Similar to how metals are purified through flame, the depths of the human heart are also tested and tried by the fires of life. The challenges we face, the difficulties we endure, and the moments of uncertainty and turmoil we experience serve as a transformative process that helps us let go of our ego's flaws and attachments. These are the ways in which we are transformed, shedding our selfishness, fear, and false idols to reveal our truest and brightest selves. During our spiritual journey, we all come across challenging people or situations that serve as catalysts for our personal growth. Although these trials may cause great discomfort and vulnerability, their purpose is not to harm us, but rather to eliminate our pettiness, pride, and temporary preoccupations. Just as fire transforms raw materials into valuable objects, our personal experiences shape us into people of greater worth and significance. The Lord tests our hearts in order to purify our essence and help us fulfill our sacred callings. These soul-refining fires transform our worn-out and damaged spirits into something beautiful, precious, and everlasting. The heat never exceeds our capacity to endure, as we are being shaped into enduring treasures deserving of eternal love. As we embrace the power of spiritual metallurgy, we witness the incredible process of our transformation from ordinary materials into extraordinary works of sacred beauty. Every trial and challenge brings forth a new level of brilliance, until eventually the true beauty within is revealed. The Lord examines our hearts to guide us towards our greatest growth, like gold being purified through fire. Lesson 4. Giving to those in need. Amidst a society driven by materialism and the pursuit of possessions, Jesus' instruction to sell your possessions and give to the poor stands out as a radical departure from the norm. It goes against the messages we constantly hear: to acquire more, to gather wealth and possessions as symbols of status and sources of security. However, in this surprising invitation, Christ guides us towards a different way of existing in the world, one that is free from the allure of more is better, a life centered around giving and letting go rather than accumulating temporary possessions. This seemingly radical call to let go of our possessions actually presents an opportunity for liberation. When we hold on to our possessions too tightly, they end up possessing us. We become trapped in a cycle of anxiety about protecting them and constantly wanting more. Selling our possessions can help us let go of attachments and fixations. Releasing ourselves from excessive possessions frees us from the burden of materialism. We challenge the mindset of scarcity that affects many people. We demonstrate through our actions that our true essence lies not in material possessions, but in the timeless treasures that reside within our souls. It's important to note that selling our possessions isn't about depriving ourselves, but rather reallocating them. Christ's message is clear. We are called to use our material wealth to help those who are in desperate need, the hungry, homeless, sick, and oppressed. By doing this, we become bearers of hope, tools of fate in the face of limited resources. However, the instruction extends well beyond just charitable giving. Christ urges us to focus on accumulating eternal treasures rather than material possessions that will eventually fade away. He encourages us to shift our focus from constantly seeking more towards building a spiritual connection through practices, serving others, and showing love for the divine and our fellow travelers. We invest in a wealth that goes beyond the material plane in these endeavors. When we sell our possessions and give to those in need, we go beyond just redistributing material resources. We embark on a journey towards spiritual freedom, releasing the hold that material possessions have on our hearts and redirecting our focus towards the eternal kingdom that will always endure. We put our treasure in everlasting storehouses that surpass any material wealth in brilliance. Lesson 5. Acquire durable money bags. In a world consumed by the desire for wealth and material possessions, Jesus presents a powerful insight. Our ultimate purpose is not to endlessly amass earthly treasures, but to actively invest in an eternal money bag filled with imperishable riches. This spiritual money bag symbolizes the abundant heavenly riches that are available to all of us. The money bag that Christ refers to is everlasting and will never deteriorate, ensuring that its contents are always protected. It protects a precious wealth that remains intact and secure. This investment is incredibly secure and valuable, both in this life and beyond. But how can someone acquire this durable money bag and fill it with riches? The journey starts by realigning our values and motivations. When we focus on accumulating treasures in heaven instead of earthly gains, we create an opportunity for genuine and enduring wealth to enter our lives. This process involves engaging in conscious spiritual practice, which includes acts of generosity, loving service, spiritual discipline, and strengthening our connection with the divine. Every kind gesture, display of empathy, or selfless act driven by faith contributes to the celestial treasure chest, filled with priceless jewels that cannot be lost or destroyed. Through this process, we will witness a profound transformation within ourselves. As our durable money bag is formed, we gradually find ourselves less captivated by the enticing but ultimately empty promises of temporary riches, as our focus shifts towards more meaningful pursuits and greater satisfaction. We understand that material possessions and social status cannot compare to the deep sense of belonging, pure happiness, and complete freedom that true treasures bring. Gradually, consistently, Our strong money bag is enriched with a currency that has immeasurable worth in every aspect. The treasures of love, wisdom, faith, service, and connection with the divine and all of creation. This wealth goes beyond fulfilling our basic needs and opens up new dimensions of spiritual fulfillment and profound abundance. It is a valuable inheritance that goes beyond material wealth. During these uncertain times, it is important to focus on securing our financial stability. When we have filled their sacred coffer through our good works and sacrifice, we bring abundant blessings wherever we go. We are always rich, as our treasure is everlasting and protected within us at all times. Lesson 6. Wealth and Wisdom. Money has always provided a sense of security and protection from the challenges of life throughout history. Wealth allows people to create secure spaces that protect them from poverty and insecurity. From this perspective, wealth can serve as a form of strong city that provides protection. However, this biblical proverb highlights the importance of wisdom as a source of protection and guidance. Similar to money, wisdom has the ability to provide protection and strength. People who prioritize the development of understanding, discernment, and consciousness build a strong internal defense against ignorance and foolishness. At first glance, these two sources of shelter, wealth and wisdom, may appear to offer the same level of protection. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that the benefits of knowledge go far beyond material wealth. While wealth can create temporary physical havens, wisdom provides a transcendent type of refuge that is portable, incorruptible, and eternal. Wisdom has a unique advantage in its ability to offer a comprehensive and flexible form of refuge. The wise person not only builds external defenses, but also cultivates a heightened awareness that can navigate any kind of terrain, whether it be welcoming or hostile, abundant or barren. Their heightened consciousness develops a steadfast inner sanctuary that remains impervious to external circumstances. Furthermore, wisdom allows one to discern between a genuine sanctuary and a mere illusion of safety. It helps us distinguish between shelters that deceive us and those that nurture our true selves. This understanding helps us avoid unintentionally trapping ourselves in self-created prisons. Wisdom's sanctuary is truly one of a kind. Unlike anything else, it doesn't isolate us from life, but rather empowers us to navigate our journey with resilience against disruptive influences. This shelter is designed to be easily portable, allowing you to take its sanctum with you wherever you go. No architects or exteriors are needed. Wisdom is the ultimate source of true refuge, surpassing the deceptive allure of money. Everything in existence is naturally oriented towards the external world, has a limited lifespan, and is prone to decay. Wisdom's sanctuary is a place that we can turn to, protecting our true selves and helping us see things more clearly. It allows us to stay grounded even in the midst of chaos. Knowledge possesses a unique grace in its divergence. Lesson 7. God give us divine abundance. This assurance from the Apostle Paul stands in stark contrast to the prevailing attitudes of scarcity and never enoughness in our culture. It proclaims a profound and perhaps even revolutionary spiritual truth, that we reside in a universe filled with abundance, where our genuine needs are graciously fulfilled by our boundlessly loving Creator. Life is filled with blessings that flow abundantly, bringing us endless joy and fulfillment. This divine abundance does not revolve around an excess of material wealth or purchasing power, although these may occasionally be part of it. Instead, it means having enough recognizing that we have everything we need to find deep satisfaction and engage in acts of kindness. We have everything we need to nurture meaning, creativity, compassion, wisdom, purpose, and joy on our journeys. This teaching emphasizes the possibility of releasing the craving minds that arise from deeply ingrained beliefs of scarcity and deprivation. The abundance of blessings in life has already been generously bestowed upon us by our benevolent Father. We can let go of thinking we lack and instead be open to receiving the abundant blessings already given to us. This does not imply disregarding the genuine struggles and hardships that humans face. There are moments when our situations can seem lacking in comfort and positivity. Even in the most desolate locations, God provides an abundance of spiritual sustenance, strength, endurance, refuge, resilience, and the rejuvenating power of love. There is always sufficient mercy to guide us through difficult times if we remain receptive to it. Living within this promise brings about a profound transformation. The never-ending desire for more is replaced by the realization that we have complete access to everything we truly need. Embracing a sense of calm and trust in the constant flow of grace replaces the anxious search for security. As we embrace the beauty of this spiritual abundance, our mindset of lack is gradually replaced with deep gratitude that inspires us to be generous and do good deeds. These words offer a timeless reassurance. God's hand is always open, ready to provide everything necessary to live each day to the fullest. There is always an ample supply available for those who are able to access it. Jamila had always lived with a constant worry about her financial stability. Despite having supportive family and fulfilling job, she always carried the burden of fear and insecurity about not having enough. Regardless of the amount of money she received, she always felt like it wasn't sufficient to cover all their expenses and save for the future. Jamila's daily experience of life was overshadowed by a mindset of inadequacy. Instead of appreciating life's blessings, she became preoccupied with financial concerns such as meeting expenses, paying bills promptly, and having savings for unforeseen costs. She couldn't escape the belief that lack and struggle were always present, even in her happiest moments. Jamila first came across teachings about humanity's divine inheritance of abundance during a spiritual retreat. The esteemed teacher discussed how the perception of lack, poverty, and want is actually a result of being disconnected from the ultimate source of provision. Jamila found a strong connection with these ideas, both on a physical and emotional level. The teacher explained how the divine creator brought forth the universe and infused all of existence with sacred patterns of continuous nourishment and renewal. Human beings are constantly receiving blessings to meet their needs, much like a river is replenished by rainfall and the turning of the seasons. When we lose touch with this truth, lack and scarcity become apparent. In the following weeks and months, Jamila dedicated herself to letting go of the fearful stories of not being enough that had limited her life. By incorporating daily meditation, prayer, and a consistent practice of gratitude for life's blessings, she gradually connected with the divine energy. She gradually let go of her resistance, and as a result, her perception of life underwent significant changes. She went from feeling desperate and deprived to realizing the abundance and wealth that had always been around her. Fortuitous circumstances and unexpected meetings brought forth additional sources of revenue. Expenses that were once overwhelming became much more manageable. Jamila's perspective shifted to recognize that material resources were just one way in which the Creator provided abundant sustenance. A whole new world of possibilities opened up. The wonders of nature's splendor, The hidden treasures of creativity and intuition, the abundance of meaningful relationships, and the deep nourishment found in spiritual wisdom. Jamila's decision to let go and embrace grace allowed a flood of blessings to come her way, which were always there but just needed to be accepted. With the power of remembering her divine connection, all lack and limitation faded away. Finally, she could fully appreciate the wonders of each day as manifestations of the boundless wealth that surrounded her at all times. Lesson 8. True contentment. In our modern society, the pursuit of wealth has become a major focus and measure of success. Our society is constantly bombarded with messages that suggest that wealth, luxury, and material possessions are the keys to happiness and contentment. However, focusing solely on material possessions can have a detrimental effect on our spiritual well-being. It can lead to a sense of emptiness and disconnection from the things that truly hold value in life. When we become fixated on attaining wealth, we are deceived by the illusion it presents. The false belief that acquiring more will ultimately bring us inner contentment. Instead of finding contentment, we find ourselves caught in an unending cycle of constantly striving, grasping, and yearning for more. We are always hungry for more. Regardless of our wealth, we often find ourselves seeking more of what ultimately fails to sustain us. This distorted longing arises from the belief in the societal illusion that wealth can offer everything: status, security, comfort, and even a sense of purpose. When we believe these misconceptions, we find ourselves trapped in insatiable desires. Our desire for more possessions can become a burden that separates us from the peace and presence we long for. There exists an alternative way of living, centered around a message that goes against the mainstream: the utmost significance of finding spiritual fulfillment and being satisfied with what we already have. This journey starts by untangling our identities from our financial worth and realigning our priorities with what truly matters: faith, relationships, wisdom, service, and the eternal. As we embrace this reorientation, a powerful transfer of energy takes place. We can redirect our energy away from materialistic pursuits and focus on what truly nourishes our souls. We shift our focus from longing to valuing, recognizing the deep abundance that is already available to us in every precious moment. This is not a plea to condemn practices that promote wealth, but rather a reminder to view the role of wealth in a balanced manner. We begin to view it as a result of prioritizing our core values and fostering a mindset of contentment. When we prioritize our spiritual well-being, everything else becomes an added blessing rather than a requirement. We come to realize that true wealth is not tied to having a lot of money or possessions. It comes from being deeply connected to the generative source. We can happily embrace the pleasures of the material world as delightful additions, rather than seeing them as false gods that require our unwavering loyalty. Through this reorientation, we can experience santosha, a state of complete acceptance and joy in everything we have been given. Finally, a sense of true contentment. Lesson 9. Wise people keep precious treasures. Life offers a range of choices, some leading to wisdom and others to folly. One way this difference becomes clear is in how we manage the valuable things that enter our lives. Our time, energy, relationships, purpose, and material resources. How should we approach them? With respect or disrespect? Those who are wise have the ability to handle life's treasures with great care. They understand the importance of these endowments and know that their value cannot be regained through any shortcuts or bargains. They are dedicated to safeguarding and optimizing their treasures, whether it's nurturing their spiritual aspirations, investing in their life's calling, or curating uplifting environments. In contrast, those who are foolish tend to adopt a careless and squandering posture towards their gifts. Many people waste their sense of awe and imaginative drive by indulging in harmful habits and diversions. Many people fail to prioritize their health and relationships because they struggle with setting boundaries and indulging themselves. Many valuable resources are wasted to satisfy selfish desires. Basically, people lose their treasures over time due to lack of knowledge, impulsive behavior, and living a mediocre life. This divergence may seem insignificant from a worldly perspective. After all, anyone who is wealthy can easily replenish their wealth through money, contacts, or inheritance. However, when it comes to matters of utmost importance, their lack is beyond repair. When innocence is lost, purpose is forgotten, and integrity is compromised, a deep sense of destitution takes hold, one that cannot be resolved with material possessions. Understanding the depths of spiritual bankruptcy is a significant danger that the wise are aware of. They feel a strong sense of responsibility to safeguard and nurture the things that hold the utmost value to them, constantly strengthening the precious elements that enhance their humanity and spiritual bond. That's why throughout history, wisdom traditions have emphasized the importance of discipline, discernment, service, and remembrance. These are the means by which we are captivated by the most precious aspects of life: love, mystery, beauty, and wonder. Accessing these abundant resources ensures you will never experience a lack. The quality of our treasures directly affects the power of our lives. There is a path that can lead to becoming a highly respected artisan whose creations are truly inspiring. The alternative is to live as a spiritually drained wanderer, forever exploring life's most beautiful landscapes, but unable to experience their true beauty. Those who possess wisdom move gracefully, while those lacking understanding stumble aimlessly, oblivious to the hidden treasures that surround them. We have the power to decide. Lesson 10. Humility and reverence for the Lord. This scriptural teaching offers a refreshing perspective on achieving life's greatest attainments in a culture that often values self-promotion, individualism, and materialistic pursuits. This text explores the importance of humility as a way to achieve true wealth, respect, and fulfillment in life. At first glance, connecting humility with the ability to attain riches and honor may appear contradictory. Many people believe that accumulating wealth and status symbols requires a high level of self-confidence, sometimes even bordering on arrogance. We are often taught that achieving success requires constantly asserting ourselves, shamelessly promoting ourselves, and defiantly rejecting any limitations. However, following this path, despite its enticing promises, ultimately results in a meaningless and unsatisfying life. When egotism takes control, we lose touch with the essential spiritual foundation needed for life's most important purposes and sources of fulfillment. Our souls suffer when we disconnect from the fountain of grace due to our prideful illusions of control. This can hinder our paths to achieving success. Humility can help us see things clearly and transform our spiritual outlook, allowing us to focus on the highest possibilities in life. It shifts our attention away from selfish desires and encourages us to have deep respect for something greater than ourselves. By embracing this virtue, we can free ourselves from the ego's materialistic desires and open ourselves up to the abundant blessings of the divine. In this humble and surrendering posture, the true nature of wealth is revealed as a spiritual inheritance rather than a reckless pursuit driven by the ego. Our spirits become open and receptive to heavenly abundance in all its forms. Material sufficiency, enriching wisdom, sublime relationships, purposeful creativity, and reconnecting with our cherished essence. By embracing humility and acknowledging a higher power, we come to realize that the materialistic pursuits we once valued are nothing compared to the abundant blessings we receive when we stay grounded and present. From this place of simplicity, we bring forth a sense of honor that is grounded and authentic, free from the need to impress with grand gestures. Walking the path of humility is a profound way to rediscover the true blessings that life has always offered. A deep sense of fulfillment, genuine connection, and the joy of living with boundless grace. This is the reward that awaits those who abandon futile efforts and embrace reverence as the source of their prosperity and recognition. Alexa had dedicated a significant portion of her life to pursuing the conventional markers of success: a prestigious education, a high-flying career, and material wealth. With her unwavering determination and self-assurance, she quickly climbed the corporate ladder and reached the pinnacle of her industry. At first glance, Alexa appeared to embody success and wealth. From her corner office, she could see the many achievements she had made in her career. Her personal life was filled with luxurious possessions, lavish trips, and extravagant indulgences. She had achieved great success by the world's standards. However, even in the midst of such extravagant luxury, Alexa couldn't shake off a deep feeling of emptiness. Her life of luxury and materialism brought her no lasting happiness or satisfaction, only a constant pursuit of more wealth and possessions. There was a crucial element that was absent, creating a noticeable emptiness within her soul. A sudden family crisis caused cracks to form in Alexa's self-centered and ambitious mindset. As she stood by her ailing mother's bedside, feeling helpless and watching someone she loved dearly suffer, all her assets and achievements suddenly seemed meaningless. She started to embrace her vulnerability and desire for a more meaningful connection. As if finding a much-needed source of nourishment, Alexa discovered teachings that completely transformed her perspective and priorities. The core message of these spiritual philosophies was a profound one. To attain life's greatest riches, one had to completely let go of arrogance and ego-driven pursuits. One needed to embark on a journey of self-reflection and humility by acknowledging their existence as a manifestation of a higher power. Alexa was intrigued by these teachings and decided to explore them further by practicing meditation, prayer, and service. As she let go of her own mental narratives, she started to catch glimpses of this sacred source in her awareness. She was amazed and humbled by the beauty and significance of even the simplest moments in her life. By letting go of her desperate striving and relentless chase for success, Alexa discovered spiritual treasures that far surpassed any material rewards. She found profound peace, unconditional belonging, and a sense of wonder that nourished her soul. Through her journey of personal growth, she discovered a new perspective on life that brought her joy and fulfillment. It became evident that true prosperity does not come from personal achievements or material possessions, but from wholeheartedly surrendering oneself to the reverence and service of the divine source. As she let go of her previous self-image, she was able to embrace the true treasures of life, love, wisdom, creativity, and the joy of being connected to something greater. Through a humble and reverent approach to the source, Alexa discovered a profound paradox in life. This path allowed her to access extraordinary realms of splendor that no ego could ever create or obtain. She had always carried the kingdom within her. Lesson 11. Lord's blessings bring wealth. This biblical truth presents a stark contrast to the prevailing culture that associates wealth accumulation with constant striving, burnout, and personal sacrifice. It states that when wealth comes from the blessings of the divine, it arrives without any sorrow, struggle, or exhausting effort. This inheritance is characterized by an abundance that uplifts the spirit. At first glance, this promise may appear to be out of touch with the difficult circumstances that many people experience when trying to make ends meet. It is quite disheartening for those who work tirelessly just to survive when they hear the idea that prosperity can be achieved effortlessly. However, this wisdom encourages us to reconsider our fundamental beliefs about generating wealth and ensuring security. Our cultural conditioning often leads us to believe that abundance can only be achieved through relentless effort and sacrifice. Since we were young, we have been taught that wealth can only be achieved by working hard, being highly competitive, and engaging in power struggles. This mental framework transforms wealth into a spiritual burden, acquired through the high price of strained relationships, health issues caused by stress, and the decline of our inner selves. However, the Lord's way challenges these misconceptions of materialistic scarcity and invites us to embrace a new perspective on the true source of abundant and fulfilling life. Aligning our pursuits with the Creator's intentions brings a deeper understanding of wealth that goes beyond material accumulation or status signaling. We are able to experience fulfillment in all aspects of our lives: relationships, creativity, physical well-being, mental clarity, and spiritual growth. When we are in tune with the divine flow, abundance comes to us effortlessly, free from the burdens of past trauma, compromised values, self-neglect, or hardship. It doesn't drain our life force, but rather multiplies it, adding spiritual gifts such as wisdom, healing, beauty, joy, and purpose enhances the value and significance of our material possessions. The Lord's way challenges the world's narratives by emphasizing that our worth and security do not come from constant work and material pursuits. Instead, it highlights the importance of recognizing our true inheritance, which is a deep inner sense of contentment and sufficiency. Life's essential prosperities flow effortlessly from this plane of being, free from the burdens of anxious grasping. Finally, the blessing can offer its complete nourishment when free from the influence of sorrow. Lesson 12. It is wise to prioritize a good name. In today's world, where materialism and social status dominate, this ancient wisdom offers a fresh perspective on what truly matters. It emphasizes the value of having integrity and earning the respect of others, rather than focusing solely on acquiring wealth and luxury. In the end, the intangible qualities of character and reputation are what truly matter and bring greater rewards than any monetary assets. Since childhood, we are bombarded with messages that encourage us to prioritize material wealth, luxury possessions, and the symbols of success. We are often told that these outward signs of affluence are believed to be the most effective means of gaining admiration, power, and a comfortable existence. However, this spiritual script fails to consider the negative consequences of compromising one's principles in pursuit of these acquisitions. If one's integrity, ethical center, or good name among peers has been compromised, all the riches in the world become worthless. It's important to remember that focusing solely on wealth and status can cause us to neglect developing the qualities that truly enrich our lives. On the other hand, When we focus on developing positive qualities such as honesty, wisdom, generosity, and service to others, we create a strong foundation of goodwill and favor that helps us gain recognition in esteemed circles. We are known for being associated with illumination, reliability, and honor. This intangible wealth provides countless opportunities and advantages that surpass the value of any material possessions. The wise understand that an impeccable reputation brings more nourishing returns than great monetary riches. There is nothing wrong with having material wealth or nice possessions. The difference lies in the routes we choose to obtain them and our commitment to uphold proper behavior throughout the journey. When wealth is earned ethically and used to support inspiring endeavors that benefit humanity, it becomes a lasting legacy that goes beyond temporary status. Our reputation extends well beyond our own lives. Many people today are influenced by the idea that having extravagant wealth and possessions is the key to gaining admiration and favor from others. However, this spiritual wisdom challenges the traditional belief by showing that the way we behave and the values we hold shape our ability to truly enjoy life's abundance and lasting prosperity. We should prioritize what yields the highest eternal rewards. Final lesson: life's greatest treasure. As we come to the conclusion of this meaningful journey, let us remember the valuable lesson we have learned, that the truest and most precious treasure in life lies within the depths of our souls rather than in any external accomplishments or possessions. Many cultures have ingrained in us the belief that true fulfillment comes from acquiring material possessions. However, the treasures we have been so eager to obtain through acquisition are actually already within us. Understanding their presence is a profound revelation. This insight highlights the fact that material wealth alone cannot fulfill our deepest desires. The desire for self-awareness, meaningful relationships, and a genuine understanding of our true selves. Once we gain this understanding, the need to search for answers disappears, as we realize that what we have been longing for is already within us. Understanding this profound truth requires a shift in perspective. It reveals that we don't need to acquire anything external to find fulfillment. Instead, by embracing our true essence, we can finally discover our wholeness. This is exactly what enables the wonders of our humanity to be revealed and celebrated. This profound realization is the most valuable gift in life, understanding our true selves and embracing it with boundless wonder. In doing so, we can uncover the true richness of our existence and fully appreciate life's greatest treasures. When we are finally seen and understood for who we truly are, we come to realize our most genuine inheritance. This is the ultimate wealth, a treasure of deep fulfillment, self-awareness, and joy that requires no additional acquisitions. To truly appreciate and give utmost respect to this essence is to attain life's greatest wealth, the treasure that surpasses all riches and brings us true fulfillment.